the male division has had so many more players focused that we can pick between who's the top guy in the company. What a tough choice that was.
Yes.
SPD, you kind of zigged when Bonds and I zagged.
Yeah.
With Jon Moxley, who had one of the greatest world championship reigns that I can remember in recent years. But I understand picking Cody. The guy, to me, was known as the Giant Slayer. So he had that TNT championship run where he was weekly defending that belt. Is that what made you pick him this year?
Absolutely. I mean, you talked about carrying a company or carrying a division essentially, and I think no better person than Cody Rhodes, proving week in and week out how many different stars he brought into AEW with that TNT Open Challenge. Where would AEW be without Ricky Starks? Where would AEW be without Eddie Kingston? Matt Sydal. I mean, he's going to be versus Matt Sydal soon. So like all these, essentially now no-name people to some of these AEW fans now are mainstream million viewer stars, and nothing against Jon Moxley. I mean, he carried the whole company for however many days with that championship through a pandemic, and same with Cody. That TNT championship tournament. I mean, they filmed so many matches in such a little time, and week in and week out, he was doing the Open Challenge. He was the face of AEW and still is the face of AEW, and he is definitely closing out 2020 very strong. Moxley is a close second in my opinion. But as I'll talk about later, Cody was in one of my matches or my pick of the match of the year. And we forget about some of the feuds he had with MJF, getting lashed on TV, the first ever steel cage match, just Cody Rhodes' first quarter of 2020. Whew, man, he delivered consistently all year. He was consistent.
Yeah, I think that if we look at these two guys as the picks, we have two champions, two guys that are incredibly underrated on the mic. And we picked top mic performer. Bonds, you're next. Honestly, to me, Cody is one of those guys that every time he's in the ring, he has one of those, like, he has a marathon match. But man, Moxley and Cody know how to pull you in to a big match. That's one thing that SPD and I have talked about throughout the weeks. Every single time that those guys have a big match, they know how to get the fans dialed in and excited for what's to come. I can't tell you the amount of times where Moxley would cut a promo where I'd be, okay, he's got my money.
Yep.